Hello?
Oh, hello, Rudy.
Yeah, hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are
Oh,
you?
so my name is Adegbite. I'm going to be doing the interview with you today for Crowd.
Okay.
Okay, so Crowd is
Awesome. Oh, it's just the two of us?
no, like 30 minutes. It shouldn't be. We shouldn't be.
Okay.
Shouldn't.
And I'm saying, is it just the two of us?
Yeah, just the two of us. Yes. Dudu unfortunately
Oh,
not be joining because he's currently in the air. So I'll probably run his meeting later in the evening.
okay. Just a second. I want to get on video. So
Yeah, it's just two of us.
okay.
Yeah. So good evening, Rudy. I think we can now start on.
Just a second. I wanna get on video.
But yeah, go on. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, it's just I'll use the background.
You will be late outside.
Okay. I think, yeah.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Okay, so as I said, my name is Adebayo Adegbite. So it's nice to see you, and then I'm hoping to learn enough from you in the course of the interview. Okay, so now let's leave here and let's start officially. So good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Adebayo Adegbite, and this is the second edition of the ACA Industry Conversations, where we have conversations with music professionals in Africa. We did like an interview with two professionals from South Africa last week. So today we have Ruddy Kwakye. Did I get that correct? So he's going to be joining us today, and then we're going to be talking about a number of issues affecting the music industry in tour in Africa. Okay, so Ruddy is a serial entrepreneur, media personality, writer, technophile, content curator, producer, among many other clubs. So he manages Afro Nation Ghana. He's the founder and chairman of Muse Media Networks. And he also serves as chief executive of the Rave Group. So Ruddy, I'm happy to be doing this with you. So I'm happy to be doing this with you. So hello.
Well, I went off briefly, so
Hello, are you there?
yes, I'm here. You
Oh,
went off
okay.
briefly.
So, well, without much ado, let's get on with it and start the meeting. As soon as ASAP. Okay, so the first question I'm going to be asking you.
Okay.
You run Afro Nation Ghana,
Yes.
Which is actually an English-speaking nation. So, what can you say about the touring circuits? You know, as you know, Nigeria and Ghana are the majority of Anglophone nations in West Africa. But then both of us, because I'm speaking from Nigeria, are surrounded by Francophone countries. So,
Yes.
so what is the touring circuit like? You in Ghana having to walk through several Francophone countries before you get to Nigeria. So, what has the experience been for you? How does it, as in, is there like a touring circuit? If there is a touring circuit, how does it compare to other regions you've been in, especially with the Anglophone and Francophone regions in Africa? Do you get that question?
Yes, I do. So I mean, it's not much a touring circuit, rather than it's a little bit of an anomaly. It's rather than the frequency of live in those places. I think when it comes to that, Anglophone actually takes the crown from, sorry, Francophone takes the crown from Anglophone Africa. there's more live than sometimes when I look on a cursory glance on the Anglophone side, simply because the French are very live driven their entertainment. Also because I think that the disparity here is French talents would always normally source from French countries. If you look at the size and comparative nature of French talents against Anglophone talents tend to be heavier in pricing and positioning, and sometimes, let me say, even global appeal. And this is brought by America, really. And the Brits entered the market. It's a massive weight as against only France standing in big talents. Let's not forget, though, that France is the second biggest hip hop market globally, and it's got some of the biggest hip hop acts on global scale. Yet, because of sometimes maybe the language barrier or the engagement, I don't know which is which, it may not resonate as it is. Like if you see Francophone acts, there are more stadium touring, arena touring, filling acts than on the regular. But then we tend to, Anglophone world tend to have some of these massive global scale talents. It's not the same, and I may be wrong, I may stand for correction, but from a cursory glance, it's not this. Even if you look at it even from a programming perspective, right? Festivals in the Francophone world as against festivals in the Anglophone world. And if you see the size of festivals and even some of the talent that it brings, it's a little different. It's a little different in weight. But they also have the numbers in terms of really just recall, throughput, ability to fill arenas. I think they do far better than we do.
Oh.
Far better.
Yeah, okay. So that's interesting. That's an interesting bit of insight. So my next question is going to go to given the fact that Francophone Africa tend to fill more stadia than we do, I am sure you realize that there's a necessary need for like a collaboration between the two. Like we must enter each other and work together so that we can rub off on each other like that. So my next question is, what impact do you think like a collaboration, like working together in that sense, can do for both regions? Because like we're talking about West Africa here. So what do you think like that collaboration, what do you think it can do?
I think is the unutilized or unrealized, the correct word is unrealized billion that we've all been waiting for. Because if we can collapse the region with culture at that level, it will be far different, because they come with numbers, and they support, they really enjoy themselves in that manner. Some of the biggest paydays for American acts have happened, even for what you call it, Anglophone acts, for Nigerian acts. Some of their biggest payday come from Francophone Africa. Like the numbers are sheer. It's an unrealized billion that we've been waiting for. And if that could happen in a very good scenario, that would create a very supermarket even in West Africa. If you look at it, that if an act can tour the region alone, just collapse our populations together, it's a significant number. But I think it's also, let's not discount one thing though. Politics hasn't helped us. Colonial politics. I mean, take a country like Ghana and Nigeria. You are surrounded by Francophone countries. Yeah. We are surrounded by Francophone countries. But none of us really take French seriously. Whereas is the reverse for Francophone world. The average French person speaks passable English. The average Anglophone doesn't speak any, even pardon is a problem.
Yeah. Oh,
So
okay.
the politics is there, like lines that were drawn maybe 70 years ago, those lines are still existing in our minds. Because look, just next door to us in Ivory Coast is a very burgeoning, massive market that we should both be crossing over and accessing and utilizing. We have similar economic indicators, we have similar um, um, we have similar dynamics even between us. But that invisible line is sitting, and I don't know whether it's just language or I think it's not language because it's more the politics. The songs do come.
Yeah.
What do you call it? These guys with Freddie Mayway, the gentleman, the band with Premier Gawu,
Magic System, I think.
Magic System, Kofi Olomide, whatnot. They've all at one point in time performed and dominated in our spaces, in Anglophone spaces. It's probably only recently that, you know, the Burners and the Davids and the whatnots and the Wizards are piercing that veil. Yeah, and doing that, you know. At any point in time, if Yusundu enters any market in Africa, he's a king. Let's
sure.
not
That's true.
So they've got it. They've got it. We just need to kind of get over that. I don't know whether it's language or whatever that invisible barrier, and we would have a market place. And that's when we can actually start talking about the touring circuit.
Yeah.
And for them also, there's so much money and attendance in Francophone Africa for Africa. They really don't. Magic System can tour Ghana, Nigeria, minimum 10,000, 20,000 capacity spaces 10 times over. Because Premier Gao is still Premier Gao after probably 15 years.
Yeah, sure.
They can come and, but you know, they make just too much money on the other side. So it's really.
Well, they never really bought that. Well,
Yeah.
okay, so thank you for that. Now I did find your insight about the politics very interesting, which means the government has something to do. So what do you think the governments of both sides of the divide now, because we're not talking about one country now or two, we're talking about 10, 15 countries. So do you think the governments should be doing something, or if the government should be doing something, what do you think the government should be doing?
I think policy is a driver for growth, and if the right policies are in place, there's already trade amongst us. One of the most busiest free ports on the West Coast sits in Togo. The goods that probably enters Nigeria and Ghana from Togo, if we're keeping the right numbers, will be massive, even beyond our own ports. And that is driven by policy. So the government has a role to play in bringing the right policies in place. Like a few things are happening, like AU launching the PAPs. AU launching the PAPs, right? Which allows for payments, cross-border payments and management. It's a very interesting thing to do. So which means I can stage a show in La Côte d'Ivoire and be able to take the money out and bring it back to wherever I took it from. These are things that policy needs to fix. Easy access to capital, easy access to payment systems that allows for repatriation of some level of capital. And, you know, again, the things that even cross-border trade faces, which is being stuck at the border. Picture this, right? I load a truck full of gear to come from Nigeria and I'm running a tour. The most efficient way is not me flying things left, right. The most efficient way is I should be able to use the West African Highway to drive this gear in. But if the gear is stuck in Benin border for 2 days, Togo for another 2 days, before it enters to Ghana, if I'm going all the way to Senegal, then look at the logistical nightmare I have in just trying to cross the borders. But a tour is really essentially that, our ability to sit in a ride, the reason why continental tours and things work in continental America and all the other spaces, there's some level of borderless implementation that's happened from ECOWAS to AU. The EU allows trucks from each other's end. So you load a truck from Poland, it would end up in Germany, and it's driving on a single highway that just gets checked, and there's no delay. There's nothing that is sitting there. But for us, it's a very different conversation to be had where even though we are in a union, we are still laws unto our own self, and each country keeps whatever it is that they want to keep. Whereas, in the EU, it's an easier thing for me to go from the Benelux region straight into Amsterdam. And then there are train rides even making it happen. Like you literally sit in a train in Paris, and a few hours later you're in Amsterdam, the same trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when you ask for that, that's really where it is. I mean, how ridiculous is this where I pay it'll cost me $700 for a ticket to Abidjan or Dakar. The same $700, and this an hour and 45 flight, and the same $700 takes me to South Africa 6.5 hours, or even less. Or the same $700 gets you 6 hours into the UK, into Europe.
Yeah.
If you ask about government, it's just these basic trading conversations that needs to happen in really collapsing the borders in the way that allows for smooth movement. Because look, we've had a tour on the paper for 2 years. We've not been able to execute. Very, very simple tour. The challenge is really just the logistical nightmare in going in. And it makes it, you see, the other thing is, as soon as you bring in that problem, the cost goes up. And if the cost goes up,
nothing gets done.
It's not profitable.
Yeah.
An average ticket, which is like a regular ticket to a show in Accra, has been 200 cedis for the last probably 10 years. Convert 200 cedis to Naira and ask yourself, if I'm going to do a David tour with an average ask of him, even if it's a very good day. Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Hello?
I'm with you. Okay. So
I mean, even if it's a very good day, and he woke up, Chioma smiled at him at night. So he woke up and the team was like, yo, we're gonna tour, we want $1 million on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be $100,000 across, give me 10 countries. Bruh. That 100,000 right now is 1.5 million CDs in Ghana. So the question is, how many 200 CD tickets am I selling just to get the talent fees? And a David production is nothing less than 100K USD.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just modest, right? So I already have a $200,000 cost sitting, and I've not even started marketing and all of those things. Not even talent delivered, right? So look at those things. You would need massive volumes, and again, it's not like the talents are elastic, are inelastic. No, there's a point where they break. I know what David can sell. I know what Banner can sell. All those players.
Yeah, that's right.
So it makes it expensive, and then I have to contend with, moving gear between spaces because I want the same level of production, and then I have to contend with the borders. Like, I've heard ridiculous stories of trucks stuck at the border for 12 days.
Yeah.
Like, how do I plan? Do I need to deploy, 7 different trucks full of gear? So if one misses, the other one, or alternatively, you say go to each country and find technical support. Well, we can, go to each country and find technical support, but it's not the same because the gear levels,
Yeah,
as you
yes.
go, it changes. Yeah, and the other thing is, I mean, look, I got a story for you. I had to fly a back line for Wiz in Accra in 2022 from South Africa because the specific back line he wanted, I didn't have it in market.
Yeah, okay.
And it's
So, okay,
I
so,
had to ship.
okay, go on.
Yeah, no, come in.
Okay, so now that question about gear, like, actually leads me to the next question I want to ask. And that's about the ACA. Now, part of what the ACA wants to do is that it wants to make sure that problems like, for example, instead of having to fly your own gear from Ghana to a show in Cote d'Ivoire, you could actually find a professional that would get like everything you want down to the specs. So how do you think, so with that kind of example, so what role do you see the ACA performing for music professionals, let's say not in Africa per se, because that's big, but okay, let's start from the regional perspective between the Francophone and the Anglophone sides of Africa. So what role do you see an organization like the ACA performing in the light of the example you gave about Nigeria?
I think that the solution is Africa from day one. It can't even be regional. And the role of ACA is a people first approach. You see, every single country I've been to has my counter opposite sitting in that market. They're doing the work, making it happen, but we're not talking across borders and sharing the best practices and actually learning from each other. So the ACA role is actually to bring that brain trust in place, to shape it first before infrastructure, because it's not just finding a music prof. Yes, there's always a music professional in there. There is also a global standard. And if you know, as you and I of Africa, the biggest problem amongst us is standardization. Nigeria decides that this is the standard they want. Ghana decides that this is the standard they want. Both of us are living in different spaces when it comes to how things need to be done. And whereas in other markets, it's fairly straight. Everybody understands that it's one. To book a venue in Holland and to book a venue in Germany, same thing, same process.
Yeah.
But to book a venue in Ghana and to book a venue in Nigeria, there's no standardization. And therefore, everybody decides what to do. It's really it's a guesstimate that you always get. So how do I even plan a tour if I cannot harmonize my budgets in the first place? And that solution is not just governmental. It's actually a people problem. And I think that's where the ACA comes in. The ability of ACA is to just put every one of us into a single space, to start these conversations and to share practices, to say, this is what I've done in this market. This is what you do in this market. This is the best practice. This is how we do it. So therefore, we can start to pick and choose from each other. You know, let me say something. This is a precursor of the ACA has come at a time where, and I used to work for MTV, and that was always our thinking from a continental level. How do you collapse the thing into one place and let the music talk? One song that you play on a timeline needs to be able to speak to people who speak multiple languages, have multiple sounds and spaces. So you have to choose the right actor that would be able to hit it. That's why you would find somebody making sense in Nigeria, but it's not making sense in Ghana, or, attracting the same attention in there. But then you would hear of an artist and it's like, this sound will complement this market. So then it becomes that. You understand?
Yeah, okay. So thank you very much for that. And then it's been like a very illuminating session. I'm sure I'll have a lot to work on. Okay, now to my final question. We could go on about this, but I think we should just. So my final question is, now from an artist perspective, you are a music industry professional. So what do you think the benefits of this mixing of Francophone and Anglophone Africa will be from the perspective of the talent, because everything we do, it's all about the talent. It's all about the Davidos, the Bonas, perhaps the Yusundos, the Magic Systems. And so, and then not just about the people who have maybe crossed or gone global, you know, we need to have a pipeline of talent coming through so that it doesn't look like these are just random seeds that sprouted out of thorny ground. So what do you think benefits of, well, like that commingling of regions that the ACA is trying to do? How will you benefit the talent?
It's the nirvana of the continent. Like I said, for Francophone Africa, entertainment is almost like written into their DNA. For us, other things compete in our mind. So therefore, we ask too many questions and calculate too much before we step into the entertainment arena. If we can collapse this market into two, it would unleash a value like we've never seen before. How do we get things done? It's just starting from the basic steps of collaboration, basic steps of talking to each other, basic steps of assessing each other. You see, imagine if I can stage a tour, I get the right talent, right? And I make it a corridor tour, kicks off in Nigeria, enters Benin, enters Togo, enters Ghana, lands in La Côte d'Ivoire. That's 6 countries.
Yeah.
That should be easy to pull across our own border. Imagine if we decided that, okay, we're going to make it just along the coast. Now you're talking Liberia, Sierra Leone, you're talking Senegal, the Gambia, and all of that. So if we can find that play and make it work, I think we would be in a great place. And I think the solution really lies in collaboration. Because if you look at all the big global tours, they go to England and they go to France.
Yeah.
It's Beyonce's done it. Everybody's done it. Like you go here, you continue to. So it's not even about the language. It's about that collaborative play to unlock the potential. Look, in 2019, we did not book any French artists on the lineup for Afro Nation. In 2022, there was a conscious effort, and I fought hard for that to happen. And as soon as we added a French talent to it, our Francophones grew from 0 to about 5%.
Wow.
Of the total. Because think about it, we are surrounded by 3 Francophone countries.
Yeah.
It's not even rocket science.
Yeah. Okay.
It should be easy. So
Yeah.
as soon as it went, you could see people came from Cameroon, from Burkina, from Togo, from whatnot. You could see the sales, and you could see that you could trace the ticket sales coming in. So it exists. And if nothing taught us anything, we should look at Côte d'Ivoire this year, last year, making the AFCON happen, and the backdrop. I think it's easy. It should be that. Look, hey guys, what are you doing? We're driving to Ghana for the weekend.
Yeah, because that brought like that stark reality of African travel. It's very stressful. Yeah. Okay.
It's a very stressful thing. Like you get to the border and laissez-passer, and how easy have we even made the laissez-passer? Right? How easy is this? Something? Do I need to file it? Some people have to file it in Accra before they left, because if you go to the border and to file it, you're encountering 6-hour delays and whatnot. But how easy can we make this whole union that we've talked about, this ECOWAS, this AU? How easy can we be that, hey, you can get a laissez-passer to enter any other countries from even any other distributors' forms, like your bank? It should be easy to walk in there and say, hey, I'm traveling, here's my money, here's my whatnot. I bought the travel pass. This is what it is. It's fed into the thing. I get to the place, snap, I'm entering. But because I've heard that there could be 6-hour delays, you think I'm going to try it? I'm not.
I mean, no, of course, that goes without saying.
If it's not an absolute thing I need to be, I'm not trying that.
Yeah.
Or you go the longer route, you fly, and that increases it by 10x.
Yeah, it's astronomical. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, well, I think it's been a very illuminating time. But then, maybe like in 2 minutes, I would just want to get your final thoughts on like the that touring circuit or building that regional conversation, because I think that's where you're starting from. So, just your final thoughts on it generally, hopes, fears, like anything.
Oh, for me, like I said, I've had a tour on the table for 3 years, actually. Yes, 3 years. I said 2 years earlier, it's 3 years. And I just want to see it happen. And every time I've gone on the ground and I've had to travel each country myself just to experience that, to say, how do we solve it? It comes by collaboration. I mean, at the back of all these political summits, there should be a cultural summit that we do, a cultural conversation that talks about the real issues and how we are both stifling each other's growth by holding these pseudo-political positions, right? If we can have those, that's my hope. My hope is that I can load a truck, right, of gear, the right gear. I don't need to buy one in Lagos and buy second one. No, we've loaded a truck. We have a proper touring bus. Artists is in, and we are driving from country to country, and they are touring, and within 7, 8 to 10 days, they are done. That's my dream.
Oh, okay. So as I said, it has been a very illuminating session. It's very nice to be sharing this with you, and you've certainly made plenty of points that are worth pondering over. Ruddy Kwakye. I hope.
Kwakye.
Okay, Kwakye.
No, it's Kwakye.
Okay, Kwakye. Wow. Well, I think
Yeah.
that's a lesson to be learned. It's really been an illuminating session with you. This has been a very productive conversation. Ruddy Kwakye is, as I said once again, a writer, a music producer, and the head executive producer for Afro Nation Ghana, which is a brand of the Afro Nation brand. So, my name is Adebayo Adegbite. This is I have been on the ACA Industry Conversations once again. So thank you very much, Ruddy. I hope we get to have like a longer conversation on this very soon. I will certainly be looking forward to it. So
You're welcome.
it's very great to meet you once again. Do have a nice and pleasant and wonderful evening.
Same to you, brother.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.